Listen, I think one thing that I think is holding a lot of people back right now, especially in Pokemon, is like last week we talked about not buying stuff that at highs, but also I think that having a comprehensive price memory from like 5 years at this point, or six or whatever it is now that I've like been doing this, I think that actually like holds me back a lot, actually, rather than like helps me do more business. Because when I just noticed it when we were at a show the other day. I literally did not want to buy something because I was like, this used to be $20. And like, and I can't get over the hurdle to spend 200 on that same thing, that I'm like, I didn't buy that at 20, let alone 200. I refuse. So, but it's like, if you can actually, if you have an outlet, obviously buy it. Like, but I just can't do it. I can't get over that hump, honestly. It's weird. I don't know what you guys are
This
gonna give me
it's
here for
look,
this, but
this is a natural thing I think everyone experiences if they're in the hobby long enough and or in any industry long enough and things go up. If you're buying milk your whole life and it goes up, it's hard to buy milk.
sure.
Um
Sure.
I I want to argue
I
this.
didn't buy eggs during listen, when the eggs were up at like $8 a whatever,
you
$6 a carton,
you
I
bought
wasn't buying
chickens.
eggs. I said,
You
I'm
bought
not
chickens
buying that
instead.
shit. I'm good.
Um, I want to argue this, but it's really the throw at the squeaks here. But the I find the price memory to actually help me more, and the people that I look at who have perfected this is Squeaks and Charlie Herlocker. They are so good at keeping their head on straight when it comes to price memory, when it comes to cards, comes to plays, investments, whatever you want to call it. They're able to just truly dissect individual cards, individual sets so well, better than anybody that I know. I mean, us three sitting here and just listen to Sean rant
We
constantly
do that regularly
with the
every
camera off,
day.
and we're just trying to like, okay, what do we need to buy? What do we need to buy? Sean, I want you to talk about this because I'm talking for you right now. I hope you agree with what I'm saying. But you and Charlie are so good at like staying emotionally flatline when it comes to this stuff, and understanding the true utility of a card, the outlook of it, why people like it, what it can do. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna throw it to you on that.
Yeah, no, it's an interesting topic, like price
Because
memory.
I
Because I
think you're
will
going
say,
through it in One Piece a lot right now, actually, Squeaks, also.
One Piece is
Like,
really
that's one
tough.
thing I
Like
can
One
definitely
Piece
see it
is so
happening in.
tough because price memory one is still really fresh. Like most people have been in One Piece for 2 years, and so every card is like impossible to buy. It feels like, unless you're just brand spanking new, which there are a lot of people. Um, but the price memory is hard for me because when I first started, everything was so cheap, so cheap, and so for the longest time, a card would go up, and it was exactly, excuse me, exactly what Thrifty said. I was like paralyzed to like I just can't dabble in this card, and like I can't buy a PSA 9 first ed Charizard for $10,000 when I used to be able to buy them raw for $700 and grade them and get nines, and did that twice. And like that, like the first ed Charizard I ever sold, by the way, was a 9, $1,350, 2015. And so like to to today to see that card at $50,000, like that is a struggle. Like to
You
have that
wouldn't be able
price
to buy
memory.
one today, I don't think. Like, at that, like, you wouldn't confidently, I don't think, buy one at that price,
So I think, and I think this is where John was coming at it from, is there's a value to that price memory as well if you can take your emotion out of it, right? And just look at it similar to how you look at a stock. Is it overvalued or is it undervalued? Relative to, the thing is, yes, that was 1350 and today it's 50,000. That's a what, 40x multiplier? Has the hobby grown by 40x? I'd argue it's grown by more than 40x. Like you could make the argument that that card relative to hobby growth has not kept up to demand. And whereas like first ed Charizard at 10 almost surely has, right? And we're still seeing them climb. And so I think that is more like the value of price memory. it's really hard to emotionally extract and like take yourself out of it if you've experienced those lower prices, especially the shorter the window, right? A 2015 sale is much easier 11 years later to like separate yourself from
Sure.
than a sale 2 years ago,
Right.
you know, or
And
like,
that's the thing. I don't think it's bad. I just think it's like like you said, it was like it's almost paralyzing, and you shouldn't be as worried about it. And like I'm actively getting like passing up deals basically because I
Of the
don't
price memory.
believe in it. I don't believe in it at the
Yeah.
prices they are.
So that could be
technically.
bringing you more value. That could be helping you and speeding you up.
I think it does help me, but also at the same time, it's like if I can make 25% on that, I should just do it, right? Like,
Mason, you seem
or
confused by
whatever.
that statement that it's helping.
Well, it's just like, I don't know. I look at me, like I buy up, down, sideways. It doesn't matter. And yeah, that's what you got to look at is like, okay, I'm buying at X%. It's just that number at that point. It's just my margin. It doesn't
So
matter
you're the king
what the
of
number
this.
is.
As a store owner,
Exactly.
that's how you run. That's how you
I
operate
have
your
to,
entire
like, yeah,
business.
I'm not gonna.
It's like volume matters in that case, then, like because I
Sure.
don't do as much volume technically.
But Mason, you
as
never
guys
turn
do,
things
I think.
away because the price now seems so crazy compared to like what you used to pay for it.
I mean,
That's a good question.
if
I
it
don't think I've
has
ever
good
asked
sell through, no, yeah. I mean, there's some stuff that this mid-era EX stuff that maybe doesn't sell very often. So it's just like, yeah, the last one that sold is X, right? But you can kind of hedge it a little bit, just because of who knows if it's going to sell for that again, right? Who knows what happened in that scenario? But for the most part, if it has good sell through, why wouldn't one of those sell throughs be me next? Like it doesn't make any sense to
So you're
worry about
purely
it.
focused on sell through and interest. So you kind of adjust your percentages possibly, or your yeses and nos based on specifics.
liquidity and
On
Yeah, I
liquidity.
mean, the only thing I really balk at now is like Magic serialized stuff, that doesn't have like good sell through, or
Ooh,
it could
I
get
want
really
all of
spotty.
those. Can you buy those for me?
For what?
I want all those serialized.
Can you be
Magic.
Radar's
Where have you been?
serialized
Where have
broker,
you
dude?
been like the past 5
Yeah,
years?
that stuff's
when I've
available, dude.
I've
Go on
been holding
Facebook.
these.
But here's what I will say. I will say, as I've gotten older and I've been in the industry longer, price memory has become less of a deterrent, more of a tool. And so, because I can separate it. And so, like, I'll give you an example. Those Evolution premium boxes, the like Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon. I had a bunch of mine from the distributor when they first came out, sold them, went and bought a bunch more later on, double the cost. In my head, it's almost like I held them this first time, but now I had to pay more for them. Right. And like, or I lost part of my gains because I had sold in that window. Same way as a stock. If you buy a stock and then you sell it, you have to treat those as separate events, right? I bought them for this cost. I sold them for this cost. New item, buying it for this cost. It's not the same item that I bought there, right? It's got different fundamentals now.
So then we're saying entry point is more important than price memory, or
yeah. And so it's tough. Like I see why people get caught up on it. I think also part of it's you get desensitized to it over time. I think it's harder when you're a collector, the price memory, because there's not the gain value perception on the other side, right? Your gain is just how much enjoyment you get out of it. And that probably doesn't scale proportionately to price. And so if you're a collector and you just enjoy this stuff and you say, I could have had that at $10 and my joy would be the same amount as now me paying $3,000 for something, that's a lot harder to mentally grasp with. To where you don't buy it and think about how you could have had it for cheaper, right? It almost like diminishes some of the enjoyment that you get out of it. And so I actually think price memory for new businesses, which a lot of times are collectors that start their businesses, and probably why they carry that to some degree. And collectors, I think, struggle with price memory a lot more than like experienced veterans of the hobby, because you've just been through enough of these waves. And the other thing I really want to touch on is price memory becomes a tool, in that when you see some of these things happen, and these gains happen, it starts to allow you to see opportunity on new stuff where the price action hasn't happened, but you can already see how the current day prices will be price memory for future generations getting in the hobby. Where you can see a card like Umbreon Darkrai and Espeon Deoxys.
no,
like
you can. It's like the Greyfell have Pikachu is like is more.
Sure, I was just thinking about how those were $3 and they were gate capped by a box that was $100+. And now today, those cards are $100+.
Yeah.
You know what else is gate capped by a $100+ box? An Espeon and Umbreon. I think your mic was muted, but an Espeon Umbreon, same box, like same style.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
15.
When those boxes came out too, that was right when COVID hit, and I remember seeing those Umbreon Darkrai, Espeon Deoxys boxes, and being like, how am I gonna sell these? I'm gonna sit on these forever. It's just like I can't, yeah.
You didn't know Squeaks
time is a
then.
funny
He
thing
says
where it's just
never
like,
sell
Well,
evolution boxes.
it's also two different business models completely. So your head is
Absolutely,
thinking
yeah.
one way, Sean's thinking
yeah,
another
price
way.
memory is way more scary for a collector than it is for
Well, and to be
somebody
fair
selling.
to Mason here, I wouldn't touch those boxes. Those boxes, in my opinion, were also unsellable. But the promos were so cheap that to me it was, these boxes are unsellable, but no one's going to lower the price on them because they're already at $100+. And yet, so if you want these promos, the only way you can get them is by ripping one of these boxes that nobody wants to rip open. So those promos got room to run. What do I see today? I see a prismatic box with a figure and a bunch of other crap that the price is baked in on that people don't want, and a bunch of prismatic packs that are flooded the market, and you got a $150 box that people don't want to rip. How else are you going to get that Umbreon and Espeon out of it? And it's the same logic. Now, will that do as well as those did? Probably not, because you need a bunch of hobby growth and a bunch of everything. But it's a similar structure, right? In the price memory of 3 to 100, 15 to 30 doesn't seem that hard. 30 to 60 doesn't seem that hard on an Umbreon. And like, that to me is like where my head goes. I use the price memory of this one thing and how it acted to like help me associate a modern thing and like try to make those judgment calls. And then you figure out like what's different about it.
That's a good, that's like a one way you can use it for sure. I do agree. I definitely do that in like life, but
yeah,
I feel like it's more of a hindrance almost in a lot of cases.
For a lot of people, I think it is. I think it meant like we've said, it paralyzes. I think it mentally.
It's a big hurdle to get over for some people, honestly. Like it's kind of,
once you can cross that threshold, understanding old prices, even before you entered the hobby, is so valuable. One of the first things I did when I started my store was I had price memory from 2010 when I played, but I had no price memory of like Diamond and Pearl era, EX era, none of that. Essentially, like I got out of the game Legendary Collection when I was younger. So like I had to fill in that gap. So I would talk to as many people as I could, talk to store owners that were around then, things like that. That's like how I came up with my whole thesis that nobody cares about the Diamond and Pearl era. Like that will always be the black sheep of the industry because nobody did. And like, that's why it always runs last, like always runs last, is because nobody cares about it. And whereas like EX era, that was popular even when the game was not popular. Gold stars were interesting even when the game was not interesting. And so like, that stuff, like learning that price memory, learning what were gold stars back then, because it would tell you there's a, like, I'll give you an amazing price memory exercise on this. Greninja Gold Star. Everyone today looks at it and says, I cannot believe how expensive that card has gotten.
Yeah.
But if you look at the price memory of Mew and Pikachu Gold Star, the unlimited ones that came in the lunchbox tin, that at one time were like $25 to $30 total for both of them because the tin was cheap. People also said those would never be valuable because that tin was mass produced. Look at them today, thousands of dollars, because they were gold stars. And over time, they get diluted out and things like that. Why couldn't Greninja do that exact same thing? Sure, way more printed, but hobby's also way larger. Are they going to go to thousands? I don't know. I mean, I know the 10 has because the condition's poor, but raw. But could they go to 2? Why not? Could they go to 4? Why not?
Yeah,
I believe they could.
2 million of those cards, I bet.
And like, and that's like, to me, seeing when Greninja was sub $10, I did not buy a lot of them because I was focused on other things at the time. But price memory dictated to me that I absolutely should have, and I would have been rewarded for it. And like, it's one of the few that I look back on and I'm like, man, I really wish I would have, because I felt like I knew better.